Well, Buck, the Chiefs have made a lot of moves in the last week, and we got to talk about it. So let's get into it.
Let's dive right in.
From the heart of Kansas City, we bring you Buk and Bob Take on Chiefs Kingdom.
I'm Buk.
And I'm Bob, and we aren't fancy analysts, but we have just as many bad takes. Although, with what's been happening, I've just been right on so many things. It's actually uncanny.
I'm going to change your name to Good Take Bob.
Bob Stradamus, maybe.
Bob Stradamus.
Oh, man.
I won't be calling you that.
All right, well, we actually are in the heart of Kansas City. This recording, we're often in Lenexa or Overland Park, but we are downtown at the Casual Animal Brewery. This bar has a great vibe.
It really, yeah, it's got like, it's not all neat and clean and fancy, but it's not gross and dirty. I mean, it's a really cool place, man. It's like,
It gives off like that coffee house vibe, but beer. Like there's board games all over the place to play. There's
you got a huge darts area.
Not all the chairs match. It's that cool, just relaxed vibe. They've got the doors you can open up, and it's so nice today. The doors are half open, at least.
And they got some pretty good beer.
Oh, the beer is really good. And the reason we are here is because we are partnering with the Youth Ambassadors of KC. We've done some stuff with them before. We've had Andrew Smeka, who works there. We've had him on the show before. He's going to be on the show in 2 weeks. We're going to be here again in 2 weeks on Monday. So if you guys want to come out for that, but
have some beer with us.
yeah, if you buy the, what's it called, the Locomotive?
Locomotive, yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
Local.
Yeah. Local motive. If you buy that beer, $2 from every beer goes towards the Youth Ambassadors of KC. So it's a really good cause. I should check it out. We've been working with them, and we want to continue to work with them. So should definitely check it out. We'll be here again on Monday. We might be doing some more stuff here through March and April. But any beer, any local motive that you buy, $2 will go to that charity. So it's a really good thing. This bar does it, I guess, every 2 months they do a new charity. So should definitely check out the Casual Animal Brewery. It's right by the KC Star building.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a special guest with us today. We got Buddha hanging out.
Buddha. Yeah. Yep. You see the Buddha.
You don't have to move.
Can you say? I'm just not going to say it, but you can see him right there. I'm just hitting the nipple. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube, though, so I'm not going to say it. But, yeah, I'm right in between them. Nice and warm.
Nice and snuggly.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about, and, not a ton of time to do it, so we should jump in. So let's start off with Kelsey. So last week we talked about Kelsey coming out on the Pat McAfee show via text that he was coming back, right? Mm-hmm. But I was wanting to hear it from his mouth, and he did come out this last week on New Heights podcast and talked about it and said he is coming back and he is going to give it his all. And he seems, I just hope this is for the right reasons and not just because he went out in a rough fashion, because I really think we win that three-peat, he retires, and
yeah, probably. But I don't care about the reasons. I don't care about what the motivating factor is. I believe that when he says whatever did motivate him, he's going to give it all the attention and energy that it's going to take, which is going to be more than it ever has been in his career because he's older. It's going to take more to get into the shape that he wants to be in. But when he does so, when he says he's going to do it, I fully believe it, and I don't care why. I love that he's a Chief.
He has earned my respect, admiration, and I mean, like I told you before, he's my favorite player of all time. So
did you wear that jersey on purpose tonight?
I did.
Yeah.
I have a lot of jerseys now.
I wish I had a Kelsey jersey.
Yep, and this is the one that I've been sporting
Yeah, you have.
Since the Super Bowl, I haven't put on a different jersey just in kind of hopes that he would come back. And I want him to come back right. He did look lackadaisical. He talked about on New Heights how he's watched the film back, and he sees the same stuff we do. He sees him just confused and looking confused when he doesn't get a chip off on a block. And I mean, there's been rumors that he was sick and maybe on medication during the Super Bowl, but he has never said that. Other people have. And I don't think he's ever the type to make an excuse like that. So he'll probably never say it, even if it is true. So that's kind of like where we are there. Yeah. So I'm hoping he comes back. I'm hoping he does find a way to restructure his contract with maybe void years, something that helps us right now. But regardless, I'm happy to have him back. Anybody. He is a little bit over the hill from what he was, but he was still the 5th best tight end in the league last year, so on many different stats. So, I mean, it's Kelsey at, 70% is still better than the majority of the league's 100%.
When you say Kelsey at 70%, though, are you talking about 70% of current Kelsey or 70% of what we know of Kelsey?
Of what of what he was in years past.
Agreed. I think he's better than 70%, though. I do.
You think so?
75, 80.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping that he comes back
the mental
with a fury.
part of it's the mental part of the game for him that has always been what sets him apart from other tight ends in the league. He's got the size. He can catch the ball. A lot of guys can do that. It's the ability to not only read the defense, but read the defense the same as the quarterback who's throwing it to you. And it's not just Pat Mahomes. He did the same thing with Alex Smith, too. So we know it's a him thing, and that's what sets him apart. And that's not going to be something that he loses. That will be that mental part will carry him well into his 40s and 50s if his body would allow him to. So it's just the body fall off. But because the mental part, I think that still gives him a huge advantage.
Yeah, and don't look for a lot of yards after catch, but look for a lot of first downs still, I think. And I think you actually get more out of Kelsey if he plays less snaps. He's not going to want that. He wants to be on the field, but it's up to the coaches to say, hey, we're going to play you at 70% of the snaps instead of 92, and you're going to be better for it because of that. Yep. And that's what I think needs to happen. And I think that will happen. And he's basically going, he's coming back, so I'm happy, but we should move on to the next piece. So Trey Smith, he signed his franchise tag yesterday, which scares the shit out of me.
Why would that scare the shit out of you?
Okay, because basically we could have rescinded it. The fact that he signed it scares me because now, so we could have just left that on the back burner with him not signing it, and we could have worked on different deals and then circled back to him. Now that he signed it, that's on the books, that's on the cap. We have to deal with it now. And so I think that's why he went ahead and signed it, is because we have to deal with it now.
How does that, I guess I don't understand. I mean, if it's going to hit the cap, is it, so what was it, $23.4 million,
yep.
Right? Does that all hit against the cap? Is any of that?
All hits.
It all hits the cap.
So
what's
all
the
hits
difference
the
of
cap.
doing it today or in 3 weeks?
If he didn't sign it, then it's not technically on the cap. So you could still make a lot of moves before you go ahead and get him signed to a long-term deal. So now we have to put that as first priority. Especially he did it, the day before free agency started, or maybe the day of. I'm not sure.
So who's this on, Veach, or is it on?
This
Smith?
is on Veach.
So
definitely.
Are you saying that this is a mistake on Veach's part? A very rare mistake?
I don't know that it's a mistake. I don't know that they would expect him to sign that tender so quickly, because a lot of guys will hold out on that. But he's like, nope, I'll go ahead and take that payday, and we'll just make sure that I'm going to get it. And if I can sign a deal, cool. If I can't, I still get 23 mil. This is a guy who's made just a couple mil in his 4 years so far. So he's like, no, I'm getting that 23 mil.
Better get that money.
Yeah. So that's what scares me a little bit about that, but it lights a fire under
What is it that
Veach's
scares
ass.
you, though? Like, I don't understand. I mean, does it scare you for the future of this next season and the cap, or does it scare you? Is there some kind of, I don't know.
It scares me
strategy
for the
on Smith's part.
Scares me for the future of the cap.
Okay.
For this year, because if he signs a long-term deal with us, then we're gonna have a cap hit of around 7 to 8 mil for this year, because they'll backload.
So you were kind of
contract.
hoping that there would be a contract rather than him signing the
Yeah,
tag.
yeah.
Okay.
And so that's where it's a smart move on Trey Smith's part, but it scares me if he doesn't like what they want to give him. He could just say, no, I'll just take the franchise tag and we can talk to teams next year, see what's up next year, and then we're just hit and we lose all of that possible money we could have used on other players this year, and that's what scares me.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, some of the other things that we're going to touch on later in the show kind of lead me to believe that maybe that's what's expected. I mean, I think some of these moves show a future. They're not just playing for 2025. They're thinking about future moves and what's going to happen in 26 and 27, especially to this line. So I think that some of these moves are helping to prep just in case we can't get Trey Smith signed to a deal.
Well, if we don't, that's going to really handicap us on. I mean, that's a whole other star player we could have if we have him signed to a long-term deal rather than the franchise tag. But this does kind of move us into the next piece of news. So
sad news.
Last week, when we first found out that Casey was going to do the tag on Smith, I told you, and this was a day before it happened, I told you, well, dude, I think it's very possible once they tagged Smith, it meant either they were going to trade Smith or trade or drop Thuney. And I told you, I was like, it's a very big possibility. We could even just drop him. And you were like, don't put that into the ether. Don't put that in. But it happened. I mean, we just can't have that much on the line. And so I saw the writing on the wall. And what happens a day later after I said that, Joe gets traded to the Chicago Bears. Yeah,
and
for a 4th-round pick.
The Bears are a better team for it. We loved you, Joe Thuney. You did such an amazing job here this season. You actually made it so that this team could make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and we appreciate everything. Thank you, Joe Thuney.
There's a lot of fans that don't like this move, but this move is extremely smart. That's why I brought it up in the episode, is because it's something that I would have done. The fact of the matter is, you can't keep everybody.
Right.
That's not the way it works, and you have to plan for the future. And getting Trey Smith on a long-term deal for the future is a lot better deal. And he's young, and I mean, he's got a lot of upside coming in. No, he's not a Joe Thuney now, but he could be a Joe Thuney by the time he's Joe Thuney's age. I mean, he's really, really good. So trading Joe, a lot of people are pissed about the 4th-round pick, and I'm like, what do you think you're going to get? Like Deebo Samuel, a skill position wide receiver.
Probably top 15 in the league.
Yeah, went for a 5th round. But, bro, I thought that they were going to have to drop him. The fact that Veach got a 4th-round pick out of it is great. And everybody complains about it, but it's for next year. Yeah, well, we're going to need picks next year, too. Like, do you want to keep the dynasty going for another decade? Or do you want to just, like overload, have a really good year, and then have 3 years of rebuilding? I don't want that.
No, and with this quarterback, we can't do that. I think Brett Veach is making some very, what's the word I'm looking for? Strategic moves to keep this train rolling on a yearly basis. He's not just making moves for 2025. He's making them for 26 and 27 to keep things going.
For sure.
Now, it does free up $15 million of cap space getting rid of trading Joe Thuney.
I think almost 17.
Which is fantastic. That's going to help a lot, especially with Trey Smith signing that franchise tag.
It does give us a little under 10 mil in dead cap money. We were one of the best in the NFL prior to this in dead cap, but you have to do it. And I mean, it gives the Bears a nice kind of cheap year for Joe Thuney, and then they could structure something for his age a little bit later. But I do feel bad because he was the team MVP.
Yes,
the team gave him the MVP,
and he deserved it.
And it just goes to show you this is a business, and you know the players. That's why Trey had to sign his tag. The players have to do what's best for them, and the team has to do what's best for them. And sometimes it makes you kind of sad in what they have to do, you know, to the players. And it's just, you know, but I think this is a good thing. And since I called it, I feel even better about it.
I might watch a couple of Bears games this season just to
Bears,
just to give Thuney some props.
Oh, so then we move on to Saturday morning. Oh my God, Saturday morning
what a day.
Sucked.
That was a day.
Saturday morning sucked. I woke up to find out that Xavier Worthy had been arrested and was possibly going to be charged with domestic assault.
With impeding someone's air passageways, right? And it was also a either family member or domestic partner situation. That was part of the original, not charge, because they did end up dropping the report. But they ended up dropping charges that day. I think it was that evening.
Yeah, well, just to go back, they did drop the charges later, but I was floored because this kid has every interview. He seemed like such a good kid,
mild-mannered.
Gave his first game, his first touchdown ball to his mom in the stadium, and it's just a really good story. And he seemed like such a nice guy. Well,
he
it
seems
turned
like
out
somebody who thinks first before actions. He's somebody that has meaning behind what they do. He's not just a fly by the seat of his pants kind of guy. It's hard to tell because what we get to see is what is released out in the press. We get to see how he acts during games, during press conferences, and sometimes you get some good information by just watching the sidelines when the cameras will pan over there.
Yep.
But every moment of every moment of his camera time has looked to me like this is a smart kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. It's hard to say. We don't know what's happening yet. But here's the deal. Just because the charges were dropped does not mean that the NFL will not punish him. He still may have broken a conduct policy, even though he didn't necessarily break the law. So that's something that we have to remember.
But I think that's a nothing burger. Basically, so.
What do you mean nothing burger? I've never heard that term.
I don't know where I heard it.
Did you just make it up?
I maybe.
I like it.
Nothing sandwich?
A plain burger?
Did I? All right, well, either way. So this was a whole thing where Xavier Worthy reportedly found out that his fiancée was not being faithful. And he had asked her, he had given her something like a week to vacate his home in Texas.
Smart move.
Supposedly, what his lawyer put out is that she was the one that attacked him. They had video, or they had picture evidence, supposedly, that they would have shown. Blah blah blah. But basically, for them to drop the charges this quick, it was completely nothing. It was a complete fabrication and a complete lie.
Well, and here's another thing to consider, that in the state, and this is just something that I heard that was reported over the radio today, so I didn't have time to look into it, but apparently in the state of Texas, they have a thing that if there is a domestic dispute of any kind reported by anybody, the male gets arrested or the male gets taken into custody immediately. and then they sort out the facts, and that's just blanket state of Texas.
Bummer.
It is a bummer. I feel like that's 1940s thinking.
Yeah, I'd be happy with just both parties going. Getting
yes, both
arrested.
Parties, yes.
Yeah,
and then dealing with the aftermath. Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
But that's kind of how they deal with it. And like you said, with the charges being dropped that quickly, it kind of tells me, or it leads me to believe, I should say, that they did. They got him in custody. They brought him in. They questioned everybody, and it became very obvious, very quick, that he was probably not the aggressor in the situation. And I think that she was. She's not stupid. She knows the guy is a professional athlete. It's her fiance, and she knows that if she cries out like that, he's likely going to have to either get in trouble or pay her.
Yeah,
and I think that's
what the lawyer said. It was an extortion attempt, and guys, just don't date.
And we
Just
still don't know the
date.
facts. So this
Just
is
don't
not
date.
this is not reporting of news. This is just our opinion and kind of our thoughts on the situation as it's gone so far.
We are lawyers.
The NFL is going to dive in and take a deep, long look at this.
I don't even know if they do.
I think they will.
All right. Well,
Anything
that'd
that's
be interesting to
when
see.
the law is involved, I think they at least have to look into it.
Yeah, I when it's dropped this quick, it's just a bummer that all that came out and that they couldn't just keep it, because since it turned out to be nothing, it's a bummer that they had to basically ruin Chiefs Kingdom Day Saturday. If you watched, hopefully you had your head in the sand, you just didn't even know it happened.
You know what I love about this is this gives Xavier Worthy an opportunity to learn from a not mistake. He can still learn from this situation, even though he didn't necessarily do anything legally wrong. We don't know how he reacted. There's definitely a possibility that he reacted the wrong way. We all know what happened with Kareem Hunt in 2019. He was a very similar situation. He was attacked. I think most people would kind of agree from the videotape that we've seen. But his reaction to it could not have been worse. He couldn't, short of unaliving somebody, he could not have done a worse reaction.
If you're ever, and I mean this just goes for everybody, not just NFL players, if you're ever attacked by a female,
Run away.
run away. Do not push them. Do not try to hold them. Do not nothing. Run. I mean, that's literally the best advice I could give you. Run.
Yeah.
Run and scream.
Do not
like
walk,
a
run.
Just scream like a little man. That's your best bet. If you're a lady, I'd say probably fight back. I don't know.
Yeah. Lady fight back.
We'll try to run first, but men, I know you can restrain them, but don't. Just run. Just get out of there. And if you have someone at your house that's supposed to leave, you don't go there to kick them out. If they're supposed to have left, call the cops.
Yeah, call the cops. Let them do their job.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll thank you, even though you think it's a stupid, insignificant call. They'll thank you for doing it the right way.
Yep.
But let's not spend too much time on this. I think the Worthy thing's pretty much covered.
What was funny about the Worthy thing, and it's probably not related because it takes a long time to get these things worked out, but 2 hours after the Worthy news came out that we agreed to terms with Hollywood Brown.
For $11 million?
Yeah, and a 1-year tender for $11 million. I checked the Sport Rack today, the website that I use for salary information.
Spot Track, yeah.
And it might be Spot Track, but we're only taking a little under a $7 million hit on the cap. So there might have been a signing bonus there or something that took it off the cap this year. But it is a 1-year tender for $11 million. But it looks like we're only going to spend about $7 million on the cap for him. I'm down with this.
I absolutely love this signing. Even if the Worthy thing didn't happen and this wasn't, holy crap, we need to figure this out real quick.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
I love this signing, even though it's a little bit more than you had initially said you'd be cool with.
I would have
think
preferred under 10, but
yes,
the cap hit is under 10.
It's still
so
under
I'm
10,
happy
yeah.
with that.
Yeah, I love it. I think this gives him a chance to prove himself with an elite quarterback. that he can get the separation that needs. I think that he showed glimpses of that when he did come back this season. So give him a full offseason. Let's just hope to everything out there that he doesn't get hit by that injury bug again. Yeah. But I think the future is bright for Hollywood Brown if he stays healthy this season.
Yeah, it was a freak. It was a freak injury. Luckily, in Pacheco's case, I fear that Pacheco will never be the same guy. But that was because it was a knee injury, right? It was a leg injury, whereas Hollywood Brown, I feel more like I feel pretty good about this because it was a weird thing, and we saw Tyreek Hill came back from it, and has still been one of the most dynamic players in the NFL.
Can I tell you my experience with knee injury? Okay, so I tore my meniscus. I couldn't walk for a month and a half till I had surgery. I could immediately walk after surgery. Now, it wasn't 100%. I was still lumbering around for a good while, but I could walk. It took about 2 to 3 months to get fully healed to the point where I could walk with no limp, no soreness, anything like that. But it took a good 2 to 3 years to trust that feeling.
Yeah,
because
that's a good call.
The pain was absolute. I'd never want to feel that pain ever again. I'll never forget it. It's been 15 years now. I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Imagine how our friend Brandon felt right before the Super Bowl when his leg was going the other
He'll never
direction.
forget that pain. And the thing is you're scared to put yourself in that situation again. And as a professional athlete, these guys put their bodies through way more than I could ever truly imagine. I mean, I can imagine it, but the wear and tear on their bodies through games, through practices, through workouts, all of that. I mean, that's why these guys start going downhill at 30 years old. So it's a hard thing to come back from, and we have to keep that in mind with Pacheco. I don't think he'll ever – I mean, he's never going to be the broken tackle guy. I don't think. I really don't.
I mean, he never was in the beginning.
No, he definitely wasn't. But I think
he was
that's
a power runner, but he wasn't a broken tackle.
Needs, though. I really do.
What's scary about Pacheco is, and we got off on the Pacheco thing, but what's scary about him is the fact that he used to run like he was angry at the ground. I didn't see that once after he came back from injury.
I saw it once.
You saw it once? I didn't
see
it
one time. And I think it was in the Super Bowl. Oh, side note, I did see, and I didn't fact check this, but I did see a report that P-Ron signed with the Bengals for a 2-year contract.
Oh.
I know.
He went to Bengal City?
Oh, man. Look, if he's given any offer for more than 1 year, why wouldn't he take it? He's on the underside of his.
The Bengals are in trouble right now, but that's a whole different topic for another time. But
I love watching it.
Yeah, it's a show.
It's a barn fire.
Yeah, but so Hollywood, I'm sorry, he was looking. Him and Mahomes' chemistry in training camp was looking amazing. I was so excited about it. I think this is a huge thing for us, and the people that don't want Hollywood, I don't know what you wanted us to go get. DK Metcalf. Thank you so much. You wanted us to go get DK Metcalf, which now that I saw what they actually had to give up for him, I wish we would have got DK Metcalf too. But I mean, I wasn't wanting to give up a first-round pick and all this other stuff, and it's just, I don't know, man. We need people like Hollywood Brown. We need the line more than we need, a flashy wide receiver. We need a flashy running back more than we need a flashy wideout.
At this point, yes. But 4 days ago, so what's that, 96 hours ago, that is not the conversation that we were having. Well, after the Xavier Worthy thing, and we didn't know about Hollywood Brown, like we said, we think that was a product of the Xavier Worthy situation.
Have been. My guess is that they've been working on a deal for a bit.
Yeah, maybe.
And they were more at my number rather than the 11 million number. They were more at my 8-9 million number, and the Xavier Worthy thing could have forced their hand to just call him and be like, okay, we'll take your last offer of 11 million.
Was it just a 1-year deal?
Yep.
Okay. And what's UFA?
Undrafted free agent.
Okay.
But yeah, there were a lot of teams looking at Hollywood Brown because he's a good snag. I mean, he's a good snag.
Yeah.
And
at the number 2,
you also have to think, he wasn't playing what he was supposed to play. He was playing when he came back. He was playing Rashee Rice's role. That's what he was playing when he should be playing the X. So, yeah, I'm good with Hollywood coming back, and I feel really good about our receivers right now. And we might be seeing. So I talked to you about Rashee Rice a couple weeks ago, and I told you I hoped that he was getting stuff in line to get his community service done and stuff like that. I found out, I forget, I should have wrote down the report, but the report is that he has been doing that. So, I mean, the NFL could look very lenient on him with the suspension, because he also spent the entire time with the team last year. We didn't really hear about it, but he was at the Chiefs' facilities every day doing rehab, trying to surround himself with good people, with good, intentions for him. And so
that gives me the warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it
You know what's
does.
fun, though? Okay, so last night I was having a text conversation with a couple of old buddies of mine. One's a Chiefs fan and one's a Lions fan and Chiefs hater. And
love you, David.
and we were talking about oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
You were
What were we talking about?
we
I got ahead of myself.
We're talking about Rashee Rice.
Yeah, Rashee Rice.
One
Okay,
Fuzzies.
so we were talking about the possible suspension, and he's like, "Well, the suspension should be 16 games." So I started, yeah, right. So I started looking it up.
I don't know that anybody's done a 16-game
At
one.
this point in time, this was a report that was written 3 days ago, I believe. I can't tell you the source because I just don't remember, but it was a news channel of some sort, so it wasn't just some onion.com. But they said the Chiefs front office right now is of the mindset that we think that we're looking at a 3 to 4 game, maybe 5 games, which for me would be a huge win at this point.
Yeah. And, I mean,
But going forward, I
because
hope more than anything that he's just learned his lesson. And look, man, when you've got that kind of money, you want to drive fast, go rent a racetrack. In Texas, there's like 8,000 of them.
Yeah, my wife bought me one for Christmas.
She bought you a racetrack?
But she brought me I get to drive a race car, but
Oh,
I
on a racetrack.
ended up not
Okay.
doing it. But, yeah, you can do that here at the Kansas, Speedway. But that type of mistake, besides the fact that he left the scene of the crime, although I will say, I tried to leave the scene of the crime when I was 16 when I had my first wreck because I didn't know what to do. I panicked and I made the wrong choice, and luckily the guy came running after me and I stopped and I backed up, but the cop was not happy that he saw my car pointing a different direction than it should have been. And yeah, it was a hard lesson learned. But the fact that it wasn't something brutal, he wasn't beating somebody up, he wasn't hurting somebody, he was just a stupid kid driving fast. I mean, that's it's so many of us would make these mistakes if we had that kind of money. I just, you just need to go into. And I say train your players better and educate them more, but young people don't listen, man.
Yeah, there's only so much that a team or the NFL as a corporation, and even the NFLPA, they have, actually the NFLPA probably does more for the players as far as teaching and training them how to deal with money, and not just money, but family and friends and all that. I think the NFLPA does a lot, but there's only so much you can do. At the end of the day, that player, that person, that human being has to make a judgment call on the fly. Because he's got friends that know he has money. He's got
friends are the worst
family
part,
members. He's got girlfriends. He's got all of that are, you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder. He's got all these little devils. And then, how many angels does he have? I can just hope that he learned his lesson, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Yep.
It really is, because if he didn't learn his lesson, this is going to happen again. This is going to affect the organization, all of that good stuff. So please have learned your lesson, Rice. And I think
And
I think you will. He seems like a smart kid.
So just surround yourself with good people. Yeah. It's the best way. I've got a checkered history of. In my youth, I did a lot of things I would take back if I could, but a lot of them were due to just the people I was hanging out with. And when I changed that group, I went to college and I never looked back. I mean, it was a completely shift.
I can't relate at all. My mom is absolutely proud of every single decision I've ever made.
Well, we got kind of on a tangent on our wide receiver room, but we were pretty upset about the whole Worthy thing, and we're pretty happy about the Hollywood Brown thing, and we're just happy things kind of worked out. And but then the next piece of news.
Hold on. So 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the possibility of keeping one between Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, and Justin Reed. We've already talked about how the Chiefs were able to retain Trey Smith. So now we're talking about
another Bobstradamus. And I've been calling it since way before. So I've been calling it since before the Super Bowl that we were going to bring Nick Bolton back. And some of the Chiefs creators that went down to the Super Bowl and did interviews with the coaches started to change their tune about Bolton and say, well, the coaches talk about him so much. I knew it, and I'll tell you, it's because I do a lot of research, and it's because I listen to a lot of Mitch Holstis. Mitch does 2 different shows for the Chiefs, and he gives you really good bits of insider information you don't get from coaches and staff.
I love Mitch Holtis.
Yeah, and he's I always knew Bolton was really good. Yes, he struggles a bit in pass coverage, but you don't understand him having a photographic memory and being able to help quarterback the defense for Spags. This is huge. He comes up with things where he'll tell Spags in the third quarter, hey, this is the same play they set up for at 3:22 in the first, and he'll be right, and then they'll be able to adjust on the fly extremely fast. And this is what he does, and he's a great run stuffer. I mean,
oh yeah, he's great against the run,
and he is there. So the fact that people thought we weren't going to bring him back, I thought was crazy. I would have rather got him a little cheaper. I mean, he'd signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with $30 million guaranteed, so it's $50 a year. I want to see how it's structured, because we'll probably be paying. It'll probably be around like $9 million cap hit for this year, something around there. Or
okay,
maybe.
So that's what my question was going to be. If we're talking $15 million a year, does the $30 million guaranteed have anything to do with the cap hit, or is that just? He's guaranteed $30 million and then $45 million with incentives.
I'm still learning, but I believe so. We traded Joe Tootie, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had a cap hit of 27 mil this year. Now, 10 of that was guaranteed. That's why when we traded him, we still have to pay that 10, and the team we traded him to has to pay the other 17. But we still have to pay that 10, and that's on our dead cap hit.
Okay. All right.
So
that makes a little sense.
Yeah. So he ain't going any. I'm pretty sure that $30 million guaranteed is the next 2 years. So he ain't going anywhere for 2 years. And then I'm guessing that the third year is some sort of. We don't have all the info on what the contract entails. If there's incentives, there could possibly be incentives for games played, whereas we wouldn't have to pay him as much if he got hurt and didn't play, type of deal. But the guaranteed, I'm pretty sure, is guaranteed, period.
Okay, so the good news, bad news on this, right, is let's talk about the bad news first. $45 million for 3 years, kind of a big cap hit, and we covered there's a big gap in his pass defense, but we know about his potential. Physically speaking, the man is gifted beyond repair. He's 24 years old, which means he's still growing, he's still learning, he's still getting better. I don't think there's a whole lot of room for him to get better in the running game. So I think that improvement is going to happen in the passing game. And if he can come to even close in the passing game to as good as he is in the running game, then that $15 million is a steal. Absolutely a steal.
Well, he's now the 5th highest paid interior linebacker in the league. So,
do you think he's worth it?
I do. I just hoped we'd get him cheaper. I hoped he'd give us, a hometown deal. But he's also a family man. Never been in trouble. I mean, a great voice in the locker room. I know he seems a little quiet to people, when he's on field and stuff. But I mean, that type of guy breeds good vibes in the locker room.
Yeah, so that's kind of in line with what we, most of the guys in the locker room we get that vibe from them. It's really hard to tell because we don't play, we don't work in the Chiefs locker room or in the facility at all, so it's hard to tell how they are on their personal time. But yeah, I mean, it kind of falls in line with what we want in this team as far as attitude and frame of mind.
So I was so upset about Worthy because I feel like I'm a really good judge of character, and I felt this was way off. Rashee Rice, I could see that happening to him last year.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I don't think he was really a bad kid, but Xavier Worthy, I just did not see that coming, and I feel like I'm a really good judge of character. And Nick Bolton, I'm telling you, man, he's got character for days. He is the quarterback of the defense. It was a good signing. I'm glad we did it. And, honestly, if I could take Willie Gay's body and put Nick Bolton's brain in it, you'd have yourself the best linebacker that ever was. I mean, you'd have everything.
Better than Brian Urlacher?
Mm-hmm.
Better than Khalil Mack?
Mm-hmm.
Better than Joey Bosa? Is he a linebacker?
No, he's a 4-3.
No, he's not better, or no, he's not a
He's a 4-3 defensive end.
All right. All right, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm pretty happy about this. I know a lot of people are not happy about it. I don't understand that.
I don't understand the argument of not being happy about it. I don't think that. I guess if he's the 5th best paid, I could see thinking that he might be overpaid. But all the intangibles that you're talking about, the photographic memory and his attitude and the way that he holds himself and being a leader, I think that's worth something. Even if he's not the most physically gifted on the field, which he's pretty high up there, but all of those extra things make him worth it. I love the signing. I love it.
Makes Spags happy. So
yeah, and we all know that.
And we want to keep Spags happy because we don't want Spags going to be a head coach
anywhere,
someplace.
Yes,
I don't think he leaves us, without going to be a head coach. But I just don't want to take a chance.
Do you think Spags is just sticking around to hopefully replace Andy Reid eventually? Because Andy Reid has only got so much time left.
No, I don't know.
We haven't talked about that at all.
Well, we're not going to talk about. We don't have time to talk about that. We'll talk about that type of thing when there's not a ton of news, because we have more.
Okay, what do you got next?
Woke up this morning.
Wait, did you wake up this morning or this afternoon?
Woke up this afternoon.
Because I actually, one of my other friends, Chiefs fan, he was texting me all day long with updates, and so I heard about Jaylon Moore from the 49ers, correct?
Yep.
He was a backup on the 49ers. Now, he did end up playing
4 years.
He ended up playing a lot this last season because their big-time left tackle, the name escapes me, but he's a top 5-10 left tackle in the league, was down for a lot of the season, so he filled in for him quite well. He's never been a full-time 16-game starter, as I understand, correct?
Nope.
But in this
rookie year, he started 7 games. He allowed 1 sack. His 2022 started two games. Rookie year games started 3. He played in 7. 2022 played in 17 games, started in 2, only 1 sack allowed. 2023 played in 16 games, started 2, only 1 sack allowed. In 2024, played 15 games, started 7 games, and only allowed 2 sacks. He's been really good for them. He was he went in like the 5th round.
Was he playing every one of these seasons? Was it all left tackle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like to spell, and then for injury's sake, he's been like one of the best backup tackles.
Yeah,
in the league.
Even though he only had 2 games started, 7, he was still in almost every single game.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what.
He's versatile too.
Trying to see what
he can move around the line.
I swore he went. I was trying to see. I swore he went. He was like it's like a 5th round pick, I think. Draft. When did he get drafted? Oh, yep. He was
5th round. Yep.
He was a 5th round pick, and he's been solid for them. When what's his name's out? I forget his name too. It's
he's
killing
a
me.
big time left tackle.
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's he's really good, and so it scared me that San Francisco would let him go. But at the same time, if you've got that, their left tackle is old though, but he's one of the best, and he's probably stuck under contract. Do you want to pay your backup tackle big money? And we signed him for a 2-year, $30 million deal. Like, that's only $15 million a year. It is kind of weird that this, $21 million guaranteed, but I think this was a huge move by Veach that I didn't even see coming. Like,
yeah, I don't.
This is better than getting any of those old tackles that were on the market. This had the possible upside of this is uncanny.
And I heard nothing about a lot of times you'll hear rumors about this guy's talking to this team's talking to this guy and we hear that a lot, especially when we are watching every single day looking for this kind of content to cover, right? So huge surprise. I couldn't be happier. Do we know DJ Humphries?
The only thing I'm upset about though, he's got a bad last name.
Okay, Moore.
Yeah. Moore is
Sky
not Moore in Kansas City right now.
Sky
we have
Moore.
a bad taste
Didn't
about
we have
Moore.
A quarterback back in the day who had a last name of Moore?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just joking though. But he comes out of Western Michigan. He's big. He does have his arm span is just a little bit under 34. And the Chiefs like 34 or higher, but it's just a smidge. It's literally,
If he dislocates his shoulder, he's got it.
Yeah, he's just dislocated out.
Yeah. So my question then is, as a left tackle, I know that we weren't sure what's going on with DJ Humphries. Do we have him for this season?
I'd still love to sign him to like a $4 million deal or a $5 million deal.
On the line like that.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully they can compete to see who gets the starting rotation with the left tackle. I would absolutely love that. Competition breeds excellence.
Yep, and DJ is another good locker room presence from what we can see from the outside. He seems like a real solid dude. So, this was a steal. I had lost faith that we were going to have anything besides DJ Humphries going into the season because the draft is sparse. Anybody we do get in the draft, I do hope we take some sort of offensive lineman in the draft, but they're not going to be ready this year. It's just not a thing. So we have to develop something, and this gives us 2 years to see if this is the guy, or
and let's not forget we still have Wanye to back up. I think a lot of people keep forgetting about Wanye, but I think he's got a decent, bright future ahead of him as well. So I think the offensive line today, the way that we see it on paper, is 3 times better than what we saw 7 days ago.
Yep.
And what we thought was going to happen.
I think
and how
we're
we saw
pretty
the future
set right now.
Yeah, how we saw the future, 2026 and 27 going. So, God, man, Brett Veach just blows my mind sometimes, what he puts together. So,
Yep,
I love it.
I wish he'd be a little more, pushy on the, because, I mean, the Chiefs never go out and get – no. We have to give criticism where criticism's due. Brett Veach always does get the aftermath. Like, he doesn't go out and get flashy guys, and it could be because or
DeAndre Hopkins isn't flashy.
Not really. No, not in the tail of his career. No, definitely not.
I still think that's a flashy.
Going out and getting DK Metcalf, that would have been flashy. Going out and
he's the tail end of his career too.
No, DK Metcalf.
He's over 30.
No,
really?
He's 27.
You said that like you know it, but I feel like you just pulled it out of your ass.
I do.
No, I believe you. You don't got to prove it.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, all right.
He was drafted the same year.
I just feel like I've been watching DK Metcalf highlights for like 13 years.
Because he does a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't be for 13 years.
But yeah, no. DK Metcalf, I believe, is 27.
Okay.
He might be. I'm pretty sure it's 27.
I'll allow it.
You can correct us in the chat or
well,
in the
then
comments.
You know what? You're right. I think that the Chiefs screwed up the entire offseason at this point. They should have dove in and put everything on DK.
It's not just this. The knock on Veach, and it could be a knock on. It could be a knock on Clark Hunt. We don't know who does it, but the Chiefs don't ever go out. Give me the last time we went out and paid big for something.
Patrick Mahomes.
Or no, we drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
In free agency.
Okay. I thought
we're talking about free
signed
agency
a big contract
only.
with Mahomes. All
we're
right.
talking about free agency only.
Okay.
Never ever goes for anything big, and I think it's because his butt is still burnt from Orlando Brown. We gave up I think it was at least 1 first-round pick. Might have been 2, but I think it was 1 and then a 2. We gave up a ton. And then he didn't even stay with us. He didn't even sign. It was a horrible mishap, and I think that's why he's scared to really go out and trade or make those big moves that other people do. And it might be a good thing, but that is a knock on him. He doesn't ever go out and get us the guys.
Well, listen, so as a Chiefs fan, all I have to go by is my history, my recollection of what this Chiefs team has done and pulled for me. So as far as general managers are concerned, the only general manager in my lifetime that can even compete with what Veach has done would be Carl Peterson. And after Peterson's time with the Chiefs was over, it became very clear to everybody that Peterson's goal wasn't to win a Super Bowl. It was to fill the seats in the stands. And so what Veach is doing right now is he's filling the seats in the stands by creating a dominant team on the field. And I just like that approach more. So I think that Brett Veach, if we're talking about a downside and that's it, is that he hasn't signed a big-name guy, all right.
It's that
we still have 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years,
exactly.
6 years. So
he's just very cautious in ever bringing on a big name, and
you know
that might be a good thing.
I think that actually kind of mirrors what we've seen from him on the field, like you talked about. He doesn't like to throw into coverage. He likes only clear, good throws. So he's safe. He's trying to play it safe. Maybe that's a strategy on the Chiefs.
I would more say it's more to the tone of he's doing the Patriots, model, and he's not overpaying for guys. He's not, pushing. He's making sure to keep. He doesn't give up draft picks very often. He's making sure to keep those. And I really think he was burnt by Orlando Brown, and that was the biggest deal, and why he's not just been a lot more aggressive in the off season with free agents and with trades.
So when you say he's being a lot like the Patriots, are you talking about the Scott Pioli Patriots?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because I think Scott Pioli came to Kansas City with the same goal, was to run the Kansas City Chiefs like the Patriots dynasty was run, and that wasn't he wasn't effective. He wasn't good at it.
Found out that Pioli wasn't the one that actually was calling the shots in Patriots country.
Just
he
because
sucked.
you have that strategy and that mindset doesn't mean that you're making the right decisions. I think Veach might have that mindset that he wants to run the team that way, but he's making much better decisions than other people trying to emulate that.
Veach is I definitely give Veach top 5 of GMs, but I don't think he is number 1 like you do.
If he's not number 1, he's top 3.
I think he's
top
3.
5. Top 3 in the NFL.
I think it's maybe top 3.
And remember
when he
got this position, it was. I listened to a lot of sports radio here locally in Kansas City, right? So it was widely considered a safe move by Andy Reid. Hey, this is my intern guy, and I'm going to put him in place so that I can do what I want. And that's how it was viewed here in Kansas City. Veach was just a stand-in for Andy Reid to play GM of this team. And it took me a couple of
really?
That's how it was viewed when it happened.
I don't remember
I will say that I think that Brett Veach has done everything in his power to prove that theory wrong. And I think Brett Veach I think he might be the brains, like the actual not X's and O's brains, but the talent on the field brains. I think that he was the secret weapon that Andy Reid had in his back pocket. And he didn't care what we thought. He didn't care that we thought that he was just a stand-in so that Reid could. Yeah, it didn't matter to him whatsoever.
I don't know.
So, but I think Veach is a fantastic GM.
Oh, I think he's fantastic, but I think he definitely has his faults, and it's not like he does everything right. He's definitely made some mishaps, and he definitely hasn't brought Patrick Mahomes any sort of big help weapon-wise since we lost Tyreek Hill. He just hasn't brought in any big
I
weapons.
think that's what he was trying to do with DeAndre, and I think that
was just we need something now, and we want a three-peat. Let's do this now. I don't think you see any moves like that this year. Last year was a weird year because of the possible three-peat. But we don't really have time to talk about this, though. We need to move on.
Sorry. Didn't mean to hamper your flow, buddy.
Well, we need to.
All right.
We still have one more thing. So we signed a running back. I don't know how I feel about it.
I really wish I had time to look at a little video on this guy before I knew it. So we had a little bit of mishap last night with our Buk and Bob on our Gmail account where all of our notes are, and I wasn't able to look at these notes and look at some of these names. So Elijah Mitchell is a new name for me. So we'll definitely have some opinions and something to say about what he means to this team by next week when we do our show. So
I have plenty.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I
Please.
have plenty.
Proceed.
Elijah Mitchell is a fast running back. He could be that change-up back that we need, like an actual fast, like a 4.31 guy. I believe that's actually what he ran, 4.31 at the combine. But he's amazing. If you look at his first year in the league, in 2021, he came in
with the 49ers?
Huh?
Is that who he came from, the 49ers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at his rookie year in 2021, he started in 10 games and played in 11 games and broke the 49ers rookie rushing record at 878. Surpassing Vic Washington's 811 in 2014. So, yeah, I don't even know who that is.
I've never heard that name.
But yeah, so I mean, he came in like whoa, this dude's gonna be good, and then just injury
Fizzled,
after
yeah.
injury after injury after injury. I was looking at one of my sites, and it said 90% chance of injury in 2025.
Oh, you didn't have to say that, man. I had some good vibes going into this little segment, and then you brought 90% chance.
But yeah,
That's like saying the dude's gonna break
It's
his
not me.
wrist.
Yeah, I
It's
forget-
gonna happen.
I forget what site it was. No, I didn't see it on a site. I saw it on Cole's. How about those Chiefs video? Cole looked it up and saw it on a site that said he had 90%.
I love that guy.
Chance to get injured, and that's just absolutely crazy. But I mean, when he's been on the field, he's been good. I mean, his yards per carry is like some reports say 4.7, some reports say they both say 4.7, but I mean 4.7 is good.
That's
a good
hard for me
average.
to see, like, in my head, 4.7, because what I see is 5'10", 200 pounds. I see Jerick McKinnon, which, no disrespect to Jerick McKinnon, I think he overdid what his potential was, honestly, in the NFL.
Oh, I loved
when
him
you're
from the start.
When you're that small as a running back in today's NFL, that's hard to imagine 4.7 yards.
Yeah, there's a lot of small running backs like that in the league, though. I mean, what's Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley's like,
He's on another level.
yeah, but he's a small dude, right?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, he seems to be, but
Saquon Barkley.
so you heard it here first, folks. Bob thinks that Elijah Mitchell is Saquon Barkley 2.0. Is that what you just said? I think.
Nope, not even
that's
even
what you
close.
said.
What is he? Oh, okay.
He's 6 foot. He's
Yep.
a bigger dude.
Yep,
He's-
you're right.
he's a
You're
little
right.
bit
You're right.
bigger.
I thought he was smaller, but I think the smaller backs are fine.
They're
Yeah, I don't
fine. It's just it's not a big time pickup. It's not Christian McCaffrey. It's not.
Yeah, see,
It's not Derrick Henry. It's not
I don't want one of them though. I don't want Derrick Henry. I don't want a bruiser. I want an actual running back, not just I run into people and maybe they fall over back. Those guys, Larry Johnson, for instance, those guys have a 2 to 3 year shelf life usually.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one you just mentioned is definitely an
Sure, yeah.
outlier, but like most of the time that doesn't last. Their bodies don't hold up and they don't have that type of strength. I want a finesse back. This guy has it, but he's going to get injured. So
Yeah.
I just I don't.
I see Dexter McCluster. That's what I see here.
But all this tells me is that we're probably not going to get Hunt back, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like I would have rather had Hunt back than him, and he has a lot of upside. I will give it that, a lot of upside. And when you look at his, when you do get some time to look into him, you're gonna see he definitely has some upside. But he's just because I'm
Inconsistent?
almost positive we're gonna take at least one running back, if not two, in the draft with how deep it is, and we already have Pacheco. Now we have him. It just tells me that Hunt is not coming back.
Yeah.
And Kelsey even mentioned Hunt by name, that he hopes that he comes back to the team. I mean, Hunt deserves to come back for one more year. And
Hunt deserves a payday. That's what Hunt deserves. And I don't think the Chiefs are willing to pay him what some other team is willing to pay him. And
if
you know
that's
what?
the case, then
Hunt, I got
I'm
nothing
happy
but
for
love
him.
for you, man. But I'll tell you what, just kind of looking through what you printed out here with the Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, just giving you some stats
there's
because
not a
you
lot.
said you hadn't had time to look into it.
And I appreciate that. But he does have postseason stats, which means he's got play in the postseason. If we get to the postseason next year, he's not going to be starstruck. He's not going to be, confused by the lights and all this
Thank
crazy.
you.
He's
Thank
got
you.
experience.
That was what I forgot to mention about Jaylon Moore too, is that he comes from a winning
Playoff team, yeah.
franchise, a franchise that knows how to win. I mean, I don't like the 49ers
Winning
either.
franchise.
But
They did
do.
lose twice in the Super Bowl in the last 5 years.
Dude,
So
only one team out of 32 teams gets to win the Super Bowl.
I know.
Period. If you
they didn't.
make it to the playoffs, you are a winning team. You are a good team.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, so yeah, he's part of a winning franchise, and he's been there, and that's same with Jaylon Moore, which has me very happy about both these guys. I just really think that Elijah Mitchell is just going to
Be the next Saquon Barkley.
He's just going to break.
Let's hope.
No,
You know what?
What hope that he breaks? No, he's going to break. He's going to get injured.
Oh, I thought that's not what I took by you when you said break. Like he's gonna break through to the other side. Okay.
Brick home through. Dude,
Yeah.
is Jaylon the most popular first name in the NFL now? Is it just me, or is that a thing?
If it's not a thing, it's getting there. You're right. I mean, we've got like 3 of them on the team right now, right?
Well, then you look at Jalen
Jalen
Carter, Jalen
Watson?
Hurts, Jalen Watson.
I think I'm gonna change my name from Jason to Jalen.
I'm going to be
Bailey?
Bobby Jalen. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to change my last name to Jalen. So then I have 2 first names.
Okay, so not to change gears here too much, but the one downside to doing a live show is we don't get to talk, or we don't get to add in any voicemails. And I think we had 1 or 2 really good voicemails this week.
We had, I didn't, I thought I'd save it for next week because
Well, we have to save it. We can't do it.
Well, I can do it on my phone and put it at the,
yeah. No.
thing. But, it'll sound just as crappy as it does on the, computer. But he wanted us to look into to rookies.
Jeremy?
No,
different
the other guy. He wanted us to look at the rookies, and I only understood one of the names.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said something about a Nebraska linebacker, and I looked up the Nebraska linebackers, the linebacker that's going to be in the draft, and he looks like he might not even be drafted. He might be a possible undrafted free agent. But the other one was Terrence something, tight end. I looked him up. It had stuff printed out, but we're going to talk about him later. I didn't add it because we just have too much to talk about. We have plenty of time to talk about possible other things. But Mel in chat says something about so she said we lost P-Ryan, but she says that I don't have to complain about Justin Watson anymore.
No kidding, man.
Did Justin
Oh,
Watson
my God.
Did he
No,
get signed
I think
by somebody else?
she was just saying that
the Chiefs
you've got
said that
plenty
they
of
were
other
gonna-
things to talk about other than hating on Justin Watson.
Oh, I thought maybe he signed with somebody else, but I do know the Chiefs said that they don't plan to re-sign him at all.
Thanks
So-
for watching, Mel. We miss you tonight.
Yeah, so I don't think we have any chance of signing him back. I think that's what she's talking about, but I didn't know if maybe he signed with somebody else. But yeah, the 2 free agents, I give the Jaylon Moore a minus. Really good signing. What do you give it?
I would say probably a B right now. I mean,
Oh, a
he's
B,
never.
really?
He's not a full-time starter. That's not his role. It's not what his role has been. So we'll see. I mean, a B is solid.
I give it an A minus because it's just so out of the box. I didn't even see it coming, and I'm Bob's Stradamus.
Look,
so,
man, I'll tell you
know.
what. If I'm wrong, then I hope I'm wrong in your favor, so it can only go up from B. But I think from what we saw on the field last season, especially in the Super Bowl, a B at left tackle is a C at left tackle. I'd be happy with. So yeah, I think
So-
it's a good signing.
The Elijah Mitchell, even though I don't really like it, I do give it a B minus just because it's a 1-year deal worth up to $3.5 million, which means there's got to be games played in incentive in there. That's my guess.
It's probably going to be yards and carries.
I
and
think
all
it's
that
going to be
good stuff.
games played.
Sure.
So that gets rid of the injury thing. Seems like a pretty cheap grab for somebody with a good amount of upside and still young, 26.
He's a Texan now.
Oh, goodbye, Jalen Watson. Goodbye,
Justin Watson.
Justin Watson.
Now I'm going to watch the Texans this year, too, because I got to root for my boy.
Oh, God.
Dude, I hope he puts up 1,200 yards and
He's
12 touchdowns.
He's so bad.
So you can eat it. You know Mel's going to make you eat it, too.
He's a great special teamer and a great scheme guy. Not a good wide receiver.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, what else we got here at the very end? Let's see here. Kelsey, 896 more yards. If he gets that this year, he'll pass Jason Witten, as the 4th all-time tight end in yards.
Is he a better tight end than Witten today if he retired right now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I just don't think total yards is a real big. I feel like Jason Witten might be a top 20 tight end all time. Oh, yeah. I don't think he's one of the greatest. I really don't.
Wow.
I really don't. And
Bold
I think
takes
Kelsey,
here tonight.
I think Kelsey is top 1 or 2.
Your boy Romo is going to be pissed off at you.
I love Tony Romo, but and Jason Witten was a solid guy, but it was really it was kind of like watching Alex Smith and Tony Gonzalez, or Alex Smith and Travis Kelce. It was, well, I got this one guy that can catch the ball. I'm just going to keep doing that. So total yards is not all that impressive for me when it comes to Jason Witten. I'm not saying the guy was trash. Top 20 all-time tight end, I think that's still a pretty big pat on the back. There's a lot of guys in that list.
Jason Witten, for me, is definitely in the top 10.
Yeah, but you were a Cowboy fan at one point, so I don't really.
Yeah, I wasn't a Cowboy fan at that point. I was a Romo fan at that point. I'd kind of given up on the Cowboys.
I wasn't a Romo fan until he retired and became a commentator.
And the first time I became a Romo fan, I watched him scramble for what felt like 15 minutes. I forget what year it was. And then he finally threw the pass, and it was a first down. And I was like, I like this guy. And he looked so cool the way he threw. Like, that's one thing you can say. Pat Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, looks dorky when he throws.
Yeah, he looks
dorky when he runs.
Looks like an uncoordinated B-teamer.
Yeah. He's damn good.
Oh, yeah.
So who cares?
Proof's in the pudding.
Yep.
We got a lot of pudding here in Kansas City.
Yeah, so I'm all in all, I'm pretty happy. It's so funny because we said we need to go to just one episode a week in the off season here, and we might have to have some. So
much changing.
Oh
constantly.
crap! Middle of the week episodes where we just come on from home and just talk for like 20 minutes on like the crazy stuff that happens, because this was nuts. Yeah. This was absolutely nuts.
Yeah, if anything else happened this week, we would have had to break it into 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty good. I really like the Moore pickup, dude. I mean, and you're getting him for $15 million a year. I mean, I didn't see a better option. Like this is out of left field for me, and I couldn't be more excited. And yeah, that's how I'm going to end it.
Mitchell's upside, 4.9 yards per carry, career average if he stays off the IR. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Dude, if he stays off IR,
are we talking about a broken tackle guy?
Do
you think we're talking about a broken tackle guy?
No, we're talking about a finesse guy.
Okay.
He's, if he's got Saquon Barkley has it all, right? If he's got something that Saquon Barkley has, he has the spin move and the cut move.
How about the spin and hurdle move?
No, nobody has that. And
Saquon does.
Yep, Saquon does. But the girl you saw in the flag football commercial, she doesn't have it.
I didn't see that.
Oh,
but you know what I'd love to see?
The Super Bowl, it was hilarious.
I'd love to see Derrick Henry this season try that move. That's what I'd love to see.
All right, well, guys, they are closing up the bar, and we got to get out of here.
Oh.
So, Buck, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, as always. You can also find me on X. It's at Buk_tastic. That's BUK_TASTIK.
And you can find both of us and every place this podcast is at bukandbob.com. That's BUKNBOB.com. If you want to find me on X, you can find me at blazin_Bob. It's BLAZZIN_BOB. Let's get out of here, dude.
How about those
Chiefs? Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Did you say tune? Yes, but it's Tooney.
Seacrest out. Oh, man.